Hey guys, Paul from Ashen Phoenix.
Hi, Paul!
It's new comic book day for the week of May 31st, so we're going to start it right now. This episode brought to you by Twitch. New gaming content is dropped on the channel, so you can check that out every other Friday, right here on this channel. It's a lot of fun stuff. You should check it out.
Hey guys, it's Tim from Capes and Scowls, the comic book store. Team Ashen and Paul and Tim do a thing. Time to talk about some trades. I don't have a ton, and most of them are Star Trek. Hope you like Star Trek. So first up, I got Star Trek, Picard, Stargazer, tying in with the Paramount Plus show. I've also got Star Trek, Warriors of the Mirror War. This is issue 0 and 4 of the one-shots that just recently came out. I've also just got Star Trek, The Mirror War. If you really love The Mirror War, I guess The Mirror War was really good. All 8 issues of The Mirror War. The Mirror War does look pretty epic. It's like everybody you know, but like they got cool knives and beards, and I'm kind of into that. We've got Static Season 1. This has been out in hardcover, but now it is finally out in regular trade format. And finally, I got Mindset, which was, I believe, a pick of the week many moons ago from me. It's by Zach Kaplan, who we've interviewed on Capes and Scowls. The guy's a sweetie, and the book is a really cool concept.
First up, we have Amazing Spider-Man issue number 26. This is one of those ones I took a flyer on. Tim was like, you should probably read this. Something big happens. It does. Something really bad happens in this book. But this is the culmination of a lot of going on. A storyline that kind of started quite a bit ago and has been really changing the face of Spider-Man as he faces off with Raven. And this is kind of like the end of that story, with tragically somebody on this page not making out of the story. I'm not going to tell you who, not going to tell you what happens, but it's definitely a shock. And we're going to see how this carries on in the future. But you should definitely check it out. This is actually not that bad to be able to just hop in and see. Typically everything else, you really need to be there, but like you kind of get a good idea of what's going on here. So you can check this out to see the shocking end.
All right, first up from me, we have The Savage Strength of Starstorm, issue number 1. This harkens back to especially 80s cartoons where they were set in space, like your Silverhawks and things like that. And it's just ROM Space Knight, like those kind of things. Very big galactic kind of feel, but it's also got that kid in high school gets a power kind of thing going on. It's okay. It's not the worst thing I ever read. It just kind of goes along and it hits a bunch of points, and I feel like it jumps around a little too much. Ultimately, I think it's going to be a fine story, but yeah, it was a little choppy. It was okay. If you want some new galactic teen superhero-y thing, you could certainly read this.
Hey guys, it's Matt from the comic book store and Capes and Scowls fame, and I'm back with 2 more books that I read to tell you guys what I thought about them. First up this week, I read Doctor Strange number 3 from Marvel Comics. It's a bit of a recap issue. It's interesting how they introduced Dormammu into the story, and we get to see a big chunk of him throughout the issue, and it's kind of interesting to see the way him and Strange interact and to see the wrap-up to their little interaction that we just get 1 issue of, and then I guess we're going to get back to the main story. I don't know. This was a pretty good recap. It didn't really add to what we saw with Agamon last issue, but there is another fun cameo, so we'll see what happens. Doctor Strange from Marvel Comics.
And my pick of the week, it is DC Pride issue number 1. Not issue number 1, it's just they just keep doing the one shot. This is a really fun story. It's a fun group of stories. Some of them are a little bit hard to deal with, but only if you are not really up on the multiverse, because a lot of these do take place outside of Earth Prime. But there are still some great stories to be told. A lot of them are very, very fun, especially if you don't know, even if you don't know what's going on. There's a lot to check out. My favorite was definitely the Harley and Ivy one with Crush kind of falling into their vacation and, in essence, kidnapping Crush. It was a really fun story. There's a lot in here. Amazing artwork, fantastic stories. The Midnight and Apollo one was really great. The Jonathan Kent issue episode story is fantastic. A lot of fun. So there's definitely something in here for everybody. You should definitely check it out.
All right, it's time for my pick of the week. Paul, what's my pick of the week?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. Come on, what's my pick of the week?
I have no idea.
Come on.
You think
It's the Rocketeer.
When I start reading, I just phase everything out.
It's really amazing, actually. It's the Rocketeer, which is a one-shot. This is cover A by Adam Hughes. So what we have here are 3 short stories of the Rocketeer. They're all pretty great. Different kind of elements to the Rocketeer. Your first story focuses on he has a friendship with Amelia Earhart, which was a really interesting and fun story. The second one is some villains and palookas are trying to steal things from a museum. Classic. And then the other one's just about him and his girlfriend. And the art is amazing. You got a lot of different art in here, and I enjoyed all of it. I think it all added to the story tremendously. A lot of cool pinups at the end as well. If you like the Rocketeer, you can't go wrong with this one shot. It's just, here's a bunch of cool Rocketeer things, enjoy it. And I did. And I think the Amelia Earhart story in particular was really good. So check it out.
And my pick of the week for this week is the North Valley Grimoire from Whatnot Publishing. I haven't read a Whatnot story before. I thought I'd take a shot in the dark with a new #1. And it's a really, really interesting story. It's a futuristic crime noir story that brings in science and magic. And it pretty much just condenses them all down, gives us a really, really cut and dry storyline that I think is going to set up a fun series going forward. But I think it could also give us a couple twists as we go forward as well. The North Valley Grimoire, issue #1, Whatnot Comics. Check it out.
All right, guys. Thank you once again for hanging out with us. We got our usual kind of stuff going on. Paul and Tim do a thing. We've got some gaming content over on Twitch where you can find Paul very late. If you're a very late individual and you like being up all hours of the night, keep Paul awake. It's really fun. And also over at Capes and Scowls, there's a weekly comic review that some guy with a mustache that everybody seems to love. He's going to talk about a book from last week. So enjoy it.